NASCAR has officially overturned their decision to disqualify Ryan Blaney, and the number 12 Ford is now well above the cut line in the playoff picture for 2023. While this has been met with a lot of praise from the Ford fans as well as some of the NASCAR drivers, some others believe that it was definitely bribery that made the sport change their decision, as NASCAR showed a clear pattern of disobedience and inconsistent with their decisions. Whether they are in the right or not, ruling out decisions in such highly competitive stances will cause a lot of in the sport, and that is exactly what the fans have started after the latest decision of NASCAR has been made official. On Monday, NASCAR officials canceled the disqualification penalty of Ryan Blaney from Sunday South Point 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and that automatically institutes Ryan in his original sixth-place finish, as his 39-point finish from the race has been reinstated back. From stating that the playoffs are more or less over for him to actually being back in the game without any effort in less than a couple of days is definitely too much to boil down to, but is this something that actually raised some concerns about the legality of NASCAR? The original statement disqualified Blaney when his number 12 car did not pass the post-race inspection for violating the rulebook section 14.11.3.5, which lists the minimum extended damper lengths for each shock. Be that as it may, the original decision was controversial in and of itself, which is why the reversal of it is questionable as well. Elaborating on this manner, NASCAR went out with an official statement, as the sport wrote, "After further review of the inspection process throughout this weekend's events at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, NASCAR has rescinded the number 12 disqualification penalty. Monday morning, during its race weekend debrief, NASCAR discovered an issue with the damper template used for inspection. NASCAR then conducted a detailed investigation and has restored the number 12 stage and race finishing positions from Sunday. NASCAR has taken internal steps to remedy this issue moving forward." With only 2 races left in the semifinal round in the playoffs, as all things stand, Byron is now 9 points above the elimination line, followed by Truex and Hamlin, who stand at 2 points. Bell, who is at -2 points. Tyler Reddick is at -16, and Blaney is right behind him at -17, with the last place currently being held by Chris Buescher at -23 points. This changes a lot because after the disqualification decision, the number 12 Ford driver was 56 points below the elimination line. The removal of the disqualification was definitely considered as a win situation for Blaney and his team, and the outlook of the entire playoff changes massively. But still, is everything handled correctly here, and more importantly, what does this change for NASCAR in the first place? One thing that the fans couldn't help but note is the fact that Ford has suffered from disqualifications in the regular season as well, with Talladega seeing Blaney win the race in a photo finish with his teammate Harvick, who was then eliminated for the exact same reason, failing to pass the inspection of his windshield fasteners, which meant that he drove the race with an unsecured windshield. However, the stakes back then were not nearly as huge as they were now for Blaney, and this might be one of the reasons why many fans took their anger out on Twitter to say that bribery always wins, as well as how Team Ford made some calls inside the inner NASCAR circles and how they managed to get out of the sticky situation they found themselves in. While the general media are happy that Blaney got his result back, it's still uncertain as to how NASCAR decided all of a sudden to change their decision, as one fan related them to be exactly the same as the FIA, which is the governing body of Formula One, as they are also known for changing the results after the race and modifying them under pressure. Be that as it may, the racing community has raised its voice for transparency after the derailing justification case from NASCAR to Ryan Blaney has hit the ceiling. This is definitely the most pivotal stage of the playoffs, and the fact that Blaney has a better average finish than Hamlin throughout the season meant that he had been disqualified, and had NASCAR kept their original statement and decision, the sport would have been left without one very good driver in the round of 8, and potentially even the championship 4. According to Elton Sawyer, NASCAR was convinced that they made the right call, but after they got the call from Dave, the post-race inspection on Sunday took another turn as he elaborated. "When we left Las Vegas on Sunday night, post-race inspection was completed. We were confident that we had made the right call on the 12 after we got back home, as Brad alluded. You know, it was a significant infraction. It was a significant penalty, and a lot of ramifications around the playoffs, really diving into the inspection process. It wasn't consistent from the time we opened on Friday until we finished our post-race inspection on Sunday. That's on us. It's something we'll take a much deeper dive into." The question came up from Dave last night. Did the other vehicles go through the same process that the 12 did? And absolutely they did. The difference is when you're in the playoffs, every team is going to be pushing the envelope. It's our responsibility to make sure that that does not ever happen again. But what is definitely raising some questions is that NASCAR, although reverting the original situation and satisfying the majority of the fans in the sport, has not done it in a clear manner. For example, when Kevin Harvick was disqualified in the regular season, NASCAR went on to upload images on Twitter to share the illustrating issues with the windshield fasteners. And, unlike the incident in Talladega, this was not the case with Blaney. Despite the release of a 2-minute video, NASCAR failed to provide the full transparency on this case. The fans went ballistic on the sport for this particular detail, as one fan said that Blaney has too much red tape around the way NASCAR conducted the investigation, while others asked the sport to show them the full transparency of the research. But one observant fan took things into further matters, as he went on to say that this is a recurring pattern in such incidents, as the sport always conducts the research in the following weekend. Ryan Blaney seems to have gotten out of the entire situation pretty neatly, as one commenter even predicted that NASCAR won't penalize him for the foul parts because the sport is not going to want to put themselves in the situation of having to deal with the anger of NASCAR's fans. Team Penske went out with an official statement on this matter, as they wrote, "We are pleased with the decision by NASCAR to rescind the post-race disqualification to the number 12 car following Sunday's race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. NASCAR has shown a tremendous amount of integrity throughout the process, which has led to this conclusion. We are proud of the effort and the results by the number 12 team during the 2023 season. We look forward to continuing the pursuit of the NASCAR Cup Series championship." And apart from Team Penske and the angry fans who feel like NASCAR was manipulated and bribed in this decision, Denny Hamlin has also supported the sport for acknowledging where they went wrong and revert the decision, even though it effectively meant reinstating the driver who has massive potential to win the championship back in the playoff picture and therefore present a direct threat for the JGR driver. Still, with his actions and awards, Hamlin has shown that he is a man of his word, and he is a true racer. So, when talking about this matter, he didn't hide the joy of NASCAR's decision, as he elaborated. "It wasn't the specified length, and that's what NASCAR said. You broke the rules, and you got disqualified. That's what they are doing. Go NASCAR. Doing a great job. I can give you a NASCAR 101 from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. They'd say, hey, don't do that. Don't do that again." They would let so much stuff go that was blatantly wrong, but they were apprehensive to lay down big penalties because they didn't like the bad pub and all that. Not anymore. They're like, "We don't care who you are, what you're doing. Don't mess with this next-gen car. We give you the rules. Play by those rules, and if you don't, you're going to get disqualified." But on top of that, Hamlin was very happy that NASCAR was able to conduct proper research and modernize their way of thinking, as he continued to praise the move from the sport, even though it directly affects his championship hopes. Do you think that NASCAR did the right job by neutralizing Blaney's penalty, or do you think that they made a circus show and made a massive similarity with the governing body of F1, the FIA? Let us know in the comments below.